2024, it's going to be by far the most important election of our lifetime. And I think it's important to recognize that we have elections coming up this weekend where there are a lot of extreme right parties that are going to win as members of parliament, and that will probably take the EU in a very different course. At the same time, on November 5th, we have elections in the United States that are going to be very, very important, not just for the American citizens, but for the entire world, where Donald Trump could actually win. And if he does, we can be pretty certain that foreign policy as we know it is going to change. And I'm very concerned about the relationship United States-Europe, which is not going to be a priority for a potential Trump presidency.
Is it all bad news?
No, I think it's great news because I am actually convinced that Donald Trump is not going to win. And I think also Europe right now understands that the relationship with the United States has to be stronger than ever. We have a war in Northern Europe. And right now we need to come together and we need to understand that both the EU and the United States have everything to gain if we work together, if we integrate our economies and we collaborate. But we also have everything to lose against China if we don't do it. At the end, common sense is going to prevail, and that's good news.
You've also spoken about the environmental transition and how, in a way, the war in Northern Europe has accelerated this.
Regardless of who wins the elections in the United States, the sustainability agenda, the green economy for the world will not change direction. It might change speed. And if Donald Trump wins, the speed at which the transition happens will be slower. But there is no turning back. And I think that's important to mention. The world understands that we have to be more sustainable. There is a strong popular demand from the voters, but also countries understand that in order to be more competitive in the future, we're also going to have to be more innovative and more sustainable. The private sector is leading this revolution. There is no turning back.
As a board member of the Gibraltar AmCham, you keep your eye constantly fixed on Gibraltar and developments here. So how do you predict that the next few months will unfold for Gibraltar?
I think the next few months are going to be critical for the future of Gibraltar. I am very optimistic about an agreement being reached with Spain and the European Union. And when it does, I think that's going to bring a lot of foreign direct investment to Gibraltar. Right now, there is a standby because most companies feel the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen. But once a deal is reached, whatever that deal looks like, it's going to make things easier for businesses, it's going to make things easier for companies and investors alike to actually come back to Gibraltar and see this what it is, an amazing opportunity for the international community.
And you feel that you're convinced that that deal is possible?
I think so. I think it's possible, and I think both parties stand a lot to gain if they do come to an agreement. So at the end, I always believe in common sense. A deal will be reached.